Hello everyone, this is Jamerica with Jamerica Life, and I have new plants. Garden call, CaraCara oranges. Yay, they came in and it looks like they're in some sort of cocoa core, so we're gonna replant them. So I'm outside with my new CaraCara navel oranges that I ordered online. They're potted, but I don't particularly care for the type of soil. Well, this isn't soil. I think it's cocoa core or peat moss. It's packed in, so we have to replant this. You can also see there is some fertilizer in there. I told you all that most growers use fertilizer in their seedlings or their cuttings. So we're gonna get this thing started. I always reuse my pots, so I have a pot from another plant, probably another orange tree, probably these, I want to call them delicata. They're not delicata. Probably these calamundins that I didn't take the strap off for yet. I'll get that later. So what I do first is I'm going to take some soil, some Texas native soil, and I'm gonna mix it in with some of the repurposed soil. I'm gonna give this thing a good start. Now, I do not use regular fertilizer. What I do with my new plants is I mix in some horticulture molasses to get them started. So I want to show you what I'm doing. I put just enough soil in there to coat the bottom and get anything that doesn't belong there. It's another pot. Let's look at this. I got some June bugs on the floor. Let me take a good look at this thing. Look at that. So that is what you would consider root bound. This has been in this pot for a while. So what you do is you take the roots, right? And you gently move them down and stop them from being circular. You don't want that. Let's take a good look at this the bottom of this thing. And what you do is you get them to stop doing like this. What the roots will do if it continues to go in a circle is it'll strangle itself out. You don't want to break these roots either, okay? And I'm gonna knock off as much of this peat moss off of this plant as possible, because it's not really, first of all, it won't drain as the same rate as this soil. It'll drain, it'll probably hold on to the water more, and I don't want it to hold on to the water. I want it to be as much of the same type of soil as possible. So I'm disturbing the roots. I'm getting all of this fluff, that's what I call it, fluff off. Look at that. That's peat moss. It's peat moss, or it's cocoa core with fertilizer in it. I'm going to let you take a look. You'll see little green pellets in there, right there. See, it's not soil. So I guess that's how they are with shipping. That's how they can ship to different states. I don't know, but I'm getting it off. Getting all of this off. Or as much of it as possible off to expose the roots. Try not to lose any root while I'm doing it, but it's coming off easy because the plant is wet. I soaked it in water overnight, so it's wet, and it's just coming off into a little pile over here. I'll use this for something else, but I'll probably mix it with the soil that I have, because this holds on to the moisture quite a bit. And I know they did it on purpose because they didn't want the plant to dry out. So they basically grew this thing for shipping. We're gonna clean this up and get as much of this spongy stuff off of this plant as possible, because that's what it is. It's like a sponge. Holds on to water, or sops up the water. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it like you can, and shake it like a milkshake, and do the best you can. Gardening will teach you patience, whether you want it to or not. It will. You won't have much of a choice after a while. So I'm getting down to the nitty-gritty. See that? It's still trying to go in a circle. I'm trying to pull it apart. There's nothing for it to hold on to now. See that? So I'm going to spread that root out, put it on there, and we're going to get some more soil. I'm going to hold it up where we want to. Remember, I told you about citrus needing the top roots needing to breathe, so we're not going to bury this super deep. I'm going to move you back so you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this thing up. And I made a mess. I got a mess over here. I'm going to hold this thing up, and I'm going to take some of this Texas native soil. Yes, Texas native. And I'm going to start, I'm holding it up where I want it, right? It's not necessarily liking it, but in the end, it's better for it, okay? And I'm putting the soil around it. So I'm spreading out the roots basically because the soil is falling on top of that root that was circular, and it's turning it more into a spiral away from itself. So it's not condensed, it's spread out like a spring. And that's what you want. You want the root to start to move around, not onto itself, into the dirt. All right, Mr. CaraCara, I'm gonna have to stake this thing up. Look how limp it is. It's not strong enough to stand on its own right now. And we got the March winds here in Texas, so I am going to stake it up. Trying to get it centered. Now it can stand up on its own. Still pulling it up. I want it to be spread out as much as possible. So I'm sticking soil underneath it to make sure that I get the height that I want. Like an updo, you know, you can want height. Some people don't do updos of the past, right? You want height. Higher. Do. Higher. All right. Don't break your rule, Jamaica. Leave some of that root exposed. You want it to, I see a little bit of root, but I don't want to go much higher than that. First of all, when you water this thing, everything's gonna drop. So I'm putting a little bit extra in here. And this is dry soil that I'm using right now. It's the same soil, it's just one is more, has been used more than the other. And just like that, we have the first one planted. Let me go and get a stake so I can stand this thing back up and give it a chance. I'm gonna loosely tie it to a stake because I still want it to whip around so that this stem that looks like a graft line is way up here on this thing. Look, that looks like where the graft is. That's super high. It's all right. I'm not alarmed. Or maybe they just pruned it like that, but it looks like a graft. Looks like it's grafted. Do not want this thing to break out, so let me go and get a stake, and we're gonna stake this thing up. Just a sec. Okay, I found a soft dish rag, and I'm trying to make this wide so that it doesn't cut into the plant. Doing the best I can, guys. I don't know. Ingenuity, right, Jamaica? Of course, the scissors won't work. All right. Here we are. And I'm only gonna leave this on here for a little while. Okay. One down. Moving on to the next. Let's go on down. Here we are. to the next one. I have some dirt already in the bottom of this one. And here is our second CaraCara. I always buy them in pairs or more than pairs. I 2 or 3, always. Sometimes 3. And this is root rot. Hope it's all right. The plant looks healthy, but the root just came off. Not good. Not good. This one is not as bad. But I'm still taking all of this extra stuff off. Take it off. And these roots are thinner than the other one. The other one was more established for some reason. Every plant is different, even though it's the same species, just like every person is different. So you got to take them for what they are and work with what you have. So I'm still trying to get this soil off because I don't want it. These roots are thinner, for sure. But it's okay because I need to take it off anyway. I have to take it off as much as I can. Now look at this. I mean, these are, it's like cardboard, wet cardboard. Come on off. Shaking it. Shaking it. Man. Come on. Get this stuff off. Just get it off. Come on now. Giving me the business. Giving me the business. I hope you all are having a good day. It's overcast again today. I like the sun, but I don't like the heat that comes from the sun. Sometimes I guess I do. Sometimes it depends. Like if I'm at a beach, I like the sun. So, oh man, I need to take another trip to the coast. And by the coast, I mean South Texas. Because I don't want to get on a plane at this point. I love Texas. You can do anything in Texas. You can get cold weather, you go up north. Yeah. North Texas is cooler. South Texas, we got beaches. Beaches that you can sometimes drive on with your truck. I love Texas. How many times am I going to say that? If you go out to Port Aransas or to North Padre, you drive on the beach. Drive on the beach, park on the beach, and just sit there. I'll bring y'all out there one day. Hopefully it never changes. Oh man, freedom. All right, I feel like I am hurting this thing, so I am not going to get any more. And I see a couple of roots down here. That's never good. So here we are. I got as much off as I possibly could. I have dirt or soil in the bottom of this pot. I'm gonna put this right here. Let me get the bag of dirt, the bag of soil. So this thing is not high enough, and I know it's not. So I'm gonna put it to the side, and I'm gonna put some more soil in here from this bag. Let me see what's on there yet. A little bit more. I think they're having a lot of disturbances up north and northeast of Texas, not Louisiana, but Oklahoma, and it's working its way across the United States. We're getting the wind, but we didn't get the cold temperatures that were expected. Thank goodness, because my trees are blooming. They're blooming. If it gets cold, the blooms fall off. So I'm kind of happy that that it didn't come here. Not as bad as, I mean, it came, but it didn't come as bad as it could have. And there's, you know, there's always other weather events that come with disruptive weather patterns. You know, because the heat is trying to come and the winter is blowing across, and they meet. And when they meet, there's always going to be a fight, always. And we're stuck in the past. So I'm gonna take this, whatever this is, peat moss, cocoa core, move that to the side. Get some of this Texas native soil. Oh, got it all over my foot. Cannot stay clean. Cannot. My trowel is right over there looking at me, laughing, talking about, girl, you using your hand? You shouldn't be using your hand. Today this bag does not want to, it doesn't want to cooperate with me. It's giving me a hard time. Purposely trying to get me dirty. Remember, with your citrus, you want shallow on the top of the roots. You do not want to pack it down and bury the roots deeply. Leave a little bit out. It'll be all right. The citrus tree's roots need to breathe a little bit, and at least initially it does, until it gets established. We're planting it in a pot, so it won't go in. It'll go into a little bit of. It'll be a little bit upset, but it won't be as bad as putting it in the ground. If I had put this in the ground with this versus going out to that clay soil, it would have been a disaster. Because that clay soil is not what this plant is used to. So I'm, slowly getting acclimatized to the Texas soil, and I can control this better in the as a potted plant. I can control its environment and watch it. That's the main thing. I can watch it better in a pot than I can in the ground. I know there's not a bunch of bugs in this soil. At least I hope there's not. So we have it planted. Let me show you something. See that? I have a little bit of root showing right there. If you all have HD, you could probably see it. Right? Did not bury the roots deep. And this stuff I'm gonna put back in that pot. So let me show you what I do once I stake this in, and I'm gonna get it fertilized, okay? So I have my stake. Take it in there, and I'm gonna widen this thing out. Make sure that it's wide. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I pull this thing closer. This one may not need it. I think I'm gonna leave this one alone. This one's strong enough. Not gonna put it in there. Not gonna do it unless I have to. So this is horticultural molasses, and it is what I give to my trees when I first plant them to help them with the change of life. So I have a bucket of water, or a pail of water here, and I'm just going to liberally pour some horticultural molasses in it and nothing else. This stuff smells like sugar. And then I take my hand, because the horticultural molasses, when you pour it into the bowl, it will just sit at the bottom of the bowl, just like when you put honey into a glass. You have to mix it up, right? Why not wash your hands off with sugar? I'm not afraid. You can get this from any of the box stores. any of the big box stores. Yep. Anything. Molasses is compatible with most natural biological soil stimulators. So it's not a chemical, okay? Not chemical. Natural. Natural sugar. And it's gonna be, this tree is gonna be like a little kid running around in circles. I'm gonna let it go for a little while. Let's see if some of it come out the bottom, because I don't like wasting this. So let me show you what happened with one of them and why you have to water them after you plant them. When you water them, it's not gonna look the same. The soil is gonna go deeper into the ground, especially if it's dry. So when you water them, keep some more soil around so that you could cover this up. This is entirely too much root showing. So I'm gonna get some more soil and I'm gonna bring it up to about here. And I see water running down the pathway. So that means that this thing is watered in properly. Basically, we got it done. Here are our 2 CaraCara planted. Yay! I don't know, maybe I should stake him up. He looks better. He looks happier. He looks happier, but this one will not. The wind is what makes it strong. So the more it moves, the better off it is. But I don't want it to move too much, because if it does, it might hurt the plant. I'll give it a little bit of brace for a couple of weeks, and then I'm gonna let them both go. So I'm doing it on the flat side, pulling it up, basically training the tree. I'm not gonna make this tight, and I'm not tying it in a knot, I'm just tying it loosely. That's get that part. Here we are. So we're done. March winds, March Texas winds, blowing in the wind, but they're standing. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life, and this is the planting of my CaraCara. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Keep you updated too. Bye, y'all.